Despair for the children who lie now in bed, the widow, the aged, the soldier who bled. For out of the nation comes a sickness and a curse. God save us all from that demon called Hurst. Like vandals of old, they did ride with hunger and death always close by their side. Came terror, his herald, but the wailing comes first. We all know he is coming, that demon called Hurst. Hello everyone, Keith here with another Mid-South adventure. We haven't done a video in a couple of weeks now, but I think we got a pretty good one for you today. Today I'm in McNairy County, Tennessee at Gilead Cemetery. I think I pronounced that right. And we're going to tell you the story of Fielding Hurst. Fielding Hurst was from East Tennessee and moved to McNairy County about 1834. By 1850, the Hurst extended family was the largest landowner in the county. Locals would refer to this area as Hurst Nation. Hurst was a slave owner. 1860 slave census shows that he owned 23 slaves, but he was a staunch Unionist. When the Civil War broke out, he was very much against secession. In June 1861, at a secession referendum in Purity, Tennessee, Hurst was arrested eventually for a very pro-Union speech that he made there, and was imprisoned in Nashville. Hurst was kept in prison in Nashville until the Union occupation of Nashville, when he was freed. He returned to McNairy County and formed a company of mounted scouts for the Union Army. Now, Hurst was not always in the good favor of the Union leaders. He was known to be rather cruel. He was pretty much out to get any of the Confederate sympathizers that were anywhere around where he had lived, and I guess was rather resentful of the fact that he had been sent off to prison. So he, like I say, he formed this company of mounted scouts, and because of his independent actions, and he was sometimes, fell out of grace with the Union leaders, but eventually he was given command of what was the 6th Tennessee Union Cavalry. And some of the atrocities he done was included raiding and burning his own hometown there, Purdy, Tennessee, where he burnt the courthouse, the church, and the churches, and some of the homes there of Confederate sympathizers. He was his outfit, along with some Union regular troops, made an attack on Jackson, Tennessee at one time, and there was a lot of damage done to civilians there, and supposedly Hurst's men took the most of the blame for it, and he, I think, kind of resented the fact that they were given all the blame for it, and kind of vowed revenge. And his revenge turned out to be raiding and burning much of the city of Jackson later on, which he also at that time did the same thing in Brownsville. Hurst and his men pretty well terrorized much of this part of West Tennessee, during the war. And there are a number of atrocities that were blamed on him. I know one time he had killed a number of Confederate sympathizers and had put them up as mileposts up and down, I think, what was called the Stage Road. there in Purdy. So I'm here now at his gravesite. We've also visited the house where he lived. It's still standing in Purdy. It's in pretty bad shape. I didn't get out and make very much of a video there. I shot a little bit from the road. They do have it posted, and supposedly people have gone there and vandalized it, and so I didn't want to go up there and trespass, but I've got a little bit of video that you can see of the house. You can see the military marker that's here for Hurst. I'm not sure if you can read it very well in this light or not, but here's the military marker that's for him. And here's another marker that was erected for him. You'll see that says judge. He was apparently elected judge here sometime after the war, but I believe that the death date for him on this marker is wrong. Everything I can find, he actually died in 1882, and that story is that he was murdered, and nobody ever, it never was solved who murdered him in the house, the mansion that he lived in there. I've heard that he was at the top of the stairs there, and somebody shot and killed him, and apparently the story I've heard, whether it's true or not, is that it never was solved. And over here on the other side is the marker for his wife. It's said that Hurst was resented so much by some of the people that lived around here that after he had died and was buried here in the cemetery, that some of the citizens here would ride their horses over his grave and spit on his grave. So he was rather notorious. It's kind of a situation that depends on your outlook. To some people, he was a patriot, and to other people, he was, well, rather evil. This is the Fielding Hurst house here in Purdy, and it does have a rather spooky vibe to it, to say the least. All kinds of stories of how this place is haunted. One thing I wanted to point out in this video, and I'm not trying to make this a debate on the Civil War, but things are not always as black and white as they may seem, and is what you're led to believe in history. Everyone who fought for the Union Army was not anti-slavery and an abolitionist, and everyone who fought in the Confederate Army didn't own slaves and thought of himself as fighting to preserve slavery. Because here you have Fielding Hurst, who was a large slave owner, by all accounts was very cruel to his slaves, as it seemed like he was just pretty much a cruel man all the way around. But here you have him owning quite a number of slaves, but yet when the Civil War came around, he was very pro-Union and fought in the Union Army. So things aren't always as cut and dry as what you are led to believe in history. And many times, not just about the American Civil War, but many events in history are very complicated and have a number of reasons why they took place. Another reason I wanted to do this video now is we're coming up on Halloween, and there's a lot of paranormal stories involved here with Hurst and with his mansion. Supposedly, some people say that the mansion is haunted. You can find YouTube videos where, I know in one, somebody went there and went inside. Like I say, I wasn't going to go trespassing, but people claim that the mansion is haunted. I've heard stories that on the anniversary of his death, that you can hear him moaning and groaning from inside the mansion. And there's a lot of stories. I'll try to put a link to a couple of these videos in the comments that other people have made. Stories that even in modern times that people have told, not just at the mansion, but in other areas around Purdy. There's a cemetery there that people say is haunted, and that some of the victims of Hurst and his men haunt that cemetery. and just different things that people have told from around that area to do with the mansion and the cemeteries and just the whole community there, and strange things that people have seen before. So thought that would be a good reason to make this video here, you know, as we're coming up on Halloween right now. So anyway, if you like this video, be sure and hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. Till next time, so long everyone. Okay, so I found this online. This is the sign that was in front of the Fielding Hurst home. It wasn't there when I went. I know I had seen photos before it showed there was a sign. But according to this sign, he was not killed in this house. He moved after coming home from the war to southwest McNairy County. And that's where he died. And it kind of explains why he's buried in a totally different part of the county than where the house is. So the story of him being killed in the house, according to this sign, is not true.